All right. Hello, 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 and welcome to Shared Space. How are we doing today, Chapo?
Hey guys, welcome to Shared Space. Busy with the holiday season coming up. I think I speak for everybody in the tribe. But tonight, hopefully, we're waiting on Mr. Haneef Hardy from Unlimited Potential to hop on. So we'll see if we can get him on shortly. What's going on with Smeltimore Homes, Miss Chansey?
Nothing much, nothing much. Hey, hi, hello, folks. I am Laquita Chansey, the founder and director of Small to More Homes, and we build micro shelters and tiny homes for folks who are unhoused. Right now, what are we doing? We are fundraising with Open Works for an outdoor classroom right there on Edmondson Avenue across the street from Harlem Park Elementary School. What else do we have going on? We know we aren't doing Walk with the Doc. We concluded Walk with the Doc for 2022. We'll pick it back up in the spring, sometime probably the weekend of March 21st or 20th, whenever spring strikes. And what else? I feel like there's something else going on. I don't know. I don't know. That's all I got for now. What about you? You're on mute. Yep, you still on mute. There you go.
So I got a survey from Bliss Meadows from Atia asking
Yes.
what kind of programming we'd be interested in for next year. So that's coming up, right?
Yep.
If you guys contact Bliss Meadows or reach out to them, they're actually surveying the community to ask what programs we would enjoy doing at their, in their space, which was really cool because I've never actually seen like Parks and Recs or anybody do anything like that. They just throw programs at you and say, here's the menu.
Right. They just
So,
colonize the programming, right? Like
woo.
just take it and yeah, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But to that point, like that was the feedback that we were getting from the weekly wellness walks. Like folks are like, what can y'all bring to our community in addition to these walks? So yeah. So what did you have in mind? Did you give any feedback yet?
I did. I actually, I still have, I'm so ashamed. I still have yet to make it over there because I talk them up so much. Um, so I need to stop in there. But I voted for one of my things I voted for was they have the sheep and the yarn dyeing and all that stuff and yarn process how to make it. So I was
Yeah.
voting for like a weekly or a monthly like knit and bitch kind of club.
Yeah.
You just knit and hang out and talk crap. I'm sorry, I forgot we're on air. So anyway, yeah. But
I
like a
like
knitting
that
club would be
though.
cool because like my wife is like a fantastic knitter. She made me this hat.
I like
Um,
it.
she has fun doing it. She finds peace doing it. And I'm like, I would love to learn how to do it and teach some of the kids how to do it. And there's other people in the community that are already really good at it. So it'd be good
Right.
to like bring them in and just have a space to do it and have fun and engage each other in fellowship. So
Yeah, no, no, no. That is really dope because, like you said, it's like a great mindfulness exercise. Not to mention, it's a skill that you can make out a side hustle out of it because everybody needs hats. Even if
hmm
that's not your style, the person that's knitting, somebody likes a knitted, fitted cap. Like, go ahead and do. You see, and I
hmm
got a couple of my own. Right now, my hair's in a bun, so I haven't been wearing hats lately. But you know
well,
how it
and you
goes.
know what's cool is my wife. So she sewed on top. She sewed this little snap. So
Yeah, so I could open it up.
well, no, no. For this one, if you like the pom pom or you want to switch out pom poms, you can switch looks. I
I
don't do
like
the
it.
pom pom, so I just snapped it off. But like, yeah,
Right,
so
you
it's
can
really cool.
accessorize.
She sews a little snap button on the pom poms. You can change the look up. She makes a bunch of hats and then you can change it up. Pretty cool. Um,
I love that.
so this week, definitely this week on Tuesday, Wednesday. So on Wednesday, December 21st, from 4 p.m. to 7:30 down at Robert C. Marshall at on Pennsy Ave and Dolphin right there.
Okay.
Um, December 21st, Wednesday, 4 to 7:30. We are doing Giving Black Community Christmas event. So we've got a huge collaboration. I'm pretty excited because it's like our whole tribe. So it's let's see. So I don't want to tell you wrong. So we got Level Up Be More, which is Dason. We got Mr. Haneef Hardy. Hopefully, we can get him on later, a little bit later, with Unlimited Potential. Coach Duncan with Stand Mentorship. Breadcoin. We're gonna have some tasty treats out there from one of our caterers, some holiday treats, and then a Gogi project. So they all came together to do this event. I think Level Up Daysign was organizing it. They're going to be giving away bikes and shoes and toys, and of course, any kind of resources people need. Maybe they don't know they need, but we'll make them available as well. And lots of Christmas goodies like cakes and cookies and stuff. So Wednesday, the 21st, 4 to 7:30, come out to Robert C. Marshall and just come engage some of the Christmas spirit and share with people. Let everybody know.
That is excellent because that reminds me there were two different rec centers that have been collecting Christmas stuff, whether it's hats or toiletries, those kinds of things. I will be by on Wednesday to drop those things off.
Cool.
So yeah, that's perfect because we always have people who are given. Typically, we are out at the corner of Broadway and Bank Street the first Saturday, and then on third Saturdays, Love and Action Ministries and Be Her Solutions and Baltimore Homes are on MLK. So yes, those are great opportunities. So you said Wednesday 4:30 to 7:30, and it's free
Mhm.
99.
Free 99 at Robert C. Marshall. Yep, Rec Center.
I love it. I
Um,
love it.
and I'm gonna comment on that because the toys you said that like rec centers are collecting toys. A lot of people are collecting toys this year, and I will just say officially on on paper, right, or on the show, I was a little disappointed with the way Baltimore City Toys for Tots was handled this year. We had about 4 or 5 people that signed up within the deadline and met the requirements and did the process, but their applications were lost along the way.
Mm.
So I don't make any assumptions why or how, but a little discouraged. So a lot of people have had to have been, and those are just the ones I know about that I tried to
Right.
connect. So it's been a little bit of a scramble for toys. So if you guys are watching or you come back and watch this later, and definitely reach out to organizations that usually have toys. Maybe they don't this year. That's it's been a little bit of miscommunication and struggle getting things connected this year with Toys for Tots, and it may be for whatever reason. So just understand that and be a little extra generous if you see a toy box sitting out there taking donations. Help fill it up for sure.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. That's a really good idea. Not only that, like just the fact of giving, right? Like this is just the season to give. So if you have the ability to give, please do. Like everybody needs help. Even the people that look like they don't need help, even your strong friends, check on your strong friends, y'all. Speaking of which, brother Twitch and all of that's going on, died by suicide. That's a really big thing. Mental health is a really big thing. So make sure, like this time of the year
Mm,
is really hard for a lot of people, right? Like for me myself, my baby, my dog that I had for 16 years, like she passed away December 2018, and I don't think about it that much, but I can't help but to think about it when other
mm.
people are talking about their grief during this time of year. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like that is
And
something that I experience,
and I and I
So,
think even if somebody doesn't have a very dramatic experience,
right,
this is the time of year for family and fellowship and intentional fellowship. Maybe if you don't see your family that often, you definitely this is the time of year you do it.
right,
And so everyone has experienced loss as we grow older. So even if it's not a dramatic loss, you don't something dramatic didn't happen, you're still feeling the
the weight.
yeah, you still feel those who are no longer present. You still feel that, and you still miss them around this time of year. So it could be subconscious or very subtle, but all of us are dealing with that, even if it's not a dramatic thing. Like, um, I don't really think about, I stay so busy during the year. I don't often, admittedly, think about my father passing. But then when it's Christmas time, it's like you want to call him up or do the thing, and it's like,
Right.
oh shit, like we
You
can't do
can't
that no
help
more, right?
but, right.
Right. And then a lot of people do lose family members around this time,
Yeah.
and that is significant, right? And we're dog people at the house too, so like we have a dog we had to put down, and oddly enough, it's another conversation, but I was able to save her skull and have a taxidermist like clean it, so we actually have her on the shelf, which is kind of creepy and cringy, but it's
Right.
cool
It is
because
what it is,
yeah,
right?
but it's cool because now the kids are like, "Oh, what's that?" And that's like our old dog, but they can explore and like have a skull in their hand. And like
Yeah.
just show them like this is like, it's something you don't see every day. So it's like
It's
a,
still a
it's,
learning experience.
it is. And so it was, it's still a little disturbing that my wife's still a little disturbed I did it, but then kind of glad I did. So,
It's one
um,
of those things,
yeah.
right? Like it's just
Hmm.
one of those things, and somehow, some way that helps you to remember your dog, right? Like that.
Hmm.
As much as people, we have our things about our dogs. Dogs not kissing me in my face. Dogs not sleeping in my bed. But I loved my baby. Like that was my baby. 16 years old, y'all. So it wasn't like traumatic in the sense that dogs don't usually live to be 16 years old. Not a pit bull anyway. You know what I mean? So thinking of like the beauty of it all, and all that great time, but still being like, oh man, but my baby's not here.
So I have a question for you because
Hmm.
you are hard to keep up with. Have you found any like good new restaurants or seen any good movies? Like what's going on? Do you have a recreational life at all? Because
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
some of us struggle with that.
Yeah, so what it makes it easy for me to hang out, especially this time of the year because my parents come into town. It's my niece's birthday. So we celebrate a couple of birthdays around this time, so it's almost like I call it forced fun. Because I am one of those people. It's like I'm so tired during the week that when it's time to have fun, it's like, nah, I'd rather just sit at home and chill. But no, my niece is like, no, it's my birthday. You have to see me. You have to give me some sort of attention. And then, like I said, my parents come up from Savannah. We
Ooh,
often do like we haven't did it recently because of COVID, so we'll probably get back into it, but we usually do an ugly sweater Christmas party. So
it's all you.
yeah, doing that. Natasha's birthday might go to what's the Top Golf or something. She's on Top Golf. So yeah, new restaurants, nothing new. I've been going to like my oldies but goodies. I
Okay.
was at Caesars recently,
Oh, okay. Very cool. Yeah, I
right?
love Caesars.
Yep, I was at Caesars recently. But what about you? Any good movies? Any good restaurants lately?
Let's see. Well, first of all, I didn't know your parents are from Savannah. Mine are too. So Smaltimore moment. My mom's from Savannah too. So movies. There's one coming out I want to watch. It's so I'm like a huge movie. Like I watch like 4 movies a day. Like I have an issue. I have a problem. So I love movies. Not excited about too much coming out. Like Black Adam, I liked. But there's one coming out. It's out right now, but I haven't. Shamefully, it's not available for free on the internet yet. I'll just say that. Um, but there's a movie called Violent Night, which looks pretty fun. So like, it's a little satire, dark satire on Christmas. Looks pretty fun. I want to see that. Um,
Who's in that?
so the guy that plays Hopper from Stranger Things,
Mm-hmm.
the big sheriff guy, he also played the
Okay.
new Hellboy. He's Santa Claus. He's like the violent Santa Claus.
Oh,
John Leguizamo, who is my all-time favorite actor of all time, most underrated, most
is
talented.
he really? I do
Oh my
love
god,
Johnny Leguizamo. Like I
dude,
do love him.
he is the most talented actor in like the 20th century. I promise you. Like, and he doesn't get all the lead roles, and he doesn't like necessarily get all the praise he deserves
He doesn't.
because he's not stealing the show. He's in
Right.
character and he's like
He's a great
performing.
supportive
He's the
actor.
best. He's just like
Yeah.
there's a new movie on Netflix. I want to, or it's new to Netflix that he did too called Critical Thinking.
You know what makes me wonder about him? Yeah, I do love him. And I just saw a movie. I just saw a movie on, maybe it was on Netflix. It was giving me like Dangerous Minds.
It's probably Critical Thinking. It came out in
Oh,
2020.
that's exactly what it is. Yes.
Yeah, that's the
It's
one I got to watch. Yeah,
yes. It's a good movie. That is such a good movie. Yeah.
and it's so weird. Like I fell in love with him because there's a movie back in the '90s. Everybody talks about the first black superhero movie. Well, people forget about Spawn with
Right.
Michael Jai White, right? Well,
Yep.
John Leguizamo is the clown in that movie, and
Yes, he was
I
a
didn't
big
recognize
scary
that.
clown.
Yes, and I didn't know that for years. And then when I
Yeah.
discovered it, I was like what a
He's a
great
great
performer that I
actor.
didn't even recognize it was him because he was in character. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's when I like for me it was just like this guy's the greatest. And then everything
And I
else I
think
watched,
that was the same movie. I recognized him then, but it was like, oh my God, he's not
right?
like being a funny,
Mm-mm.
like
He's as scary
Latina.
as I don't know what.
Right. Yes. 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 Yeah.
That is
He's
funny.
great. In critical thinking, like I love the idea of like chess and it being like this like this exclusive kind of etiquette game and da 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 da, but anybody can play it. And those kids were like
Yeah, and
getting down and doing what they needed to do to win.
he shares about the history of
Yes,
people of color and
yes.
their contributions to
And
chess
how
that
it's
are
been
whitewashed
whitewashed.
out. Yeah, sure. That's John Leguizamo, man. Like,
You
yeah.
know, I love that stuff. I love it when
Hmm.
we can see ourselves in movies and people are pointing out the patriarchy, colonialism, imperialism, like what capitalism, any of the
The
isms,
isms.
point that thing out, okay? Because that means oppression, and I'm not with it.
So
So,
yeah, so those are movies. I haven't necessarily. Oh, you know what I did see that was fantastic. Of course, was Jingle Jangle on Netflix. It's a oldie but goodie.
hmm,
David E. Talbert from PG County, DC,
mm-hmm,
Morgan State grad. He was, I think it's something. Don't quote me, but it's like the first black director to all get $100 million to make a film. Netflix gave him $100 million budget and said, make your dream movie. And so he made Jingle Jangle. And so as we watch that, like understand like there's just a lot of deep history and he's a local guy, right? So
mm-hmm,
there's a lot of Baltimore and DC in that movie and his experiences along the way. And he describes himself as the main character. And one thing I got to speak with him a little bit at a showing he did on North Avenue. And
mm-hmm.
one thing I noticed, because like I said, I'm a movie addict, right? And I'm watching, and I had a moment where I got to talk a little bit with him. I was a room full of Morgan State Bears, right? So I said, did all the Bears in the room notice the main character wore a blue and orange Morgan State bow tie throughout the entire movie, right?
Mm,
And then me and Mr. Talbert had a little bromance for like 30 seconds. He just looked me in my eyes, and I looked back, and he's like, "You saw that?" And I'm like, I
I
saw that,
see
brother.
you.
Like, it's all love. I saw that. And so,
Right.
like, it was really cool to connect with, he got to connect with an audience or a person in the audience who saw the subtle little details he did. And then to be acknowledged by him as somebody viewing the movie that, yeah, I did that on purpose. It was just like this beautiful
Right.
moment for me. And everybody's like, oh, snap. And then he went on to tell some more little Easter eggs he put in there. So, and I think the following day he did and I don't know if he's a professor routinely, but he had done a script writing class for some of the kids there. So, and if you don't know David E. Talbert, just Google him. He's like the Tyler Perry of like plays, um, so.
But I love that, like script writing with the kids. That's a great skill
Hmm.
right there. Like people, the crazy thing is what I'm learning is that a lot of the things that we do on a daily basis to keep community together, so many skill sets in there, so many like things that we need to drop on our resume because we can like forecast what's going to happen, who needs to be there, what we need to make them feel comfortable, how to make them want to keep coming back. Like people don't know how to forecast all the time, and we have to forecast so that we can keep community involved, and that's like a whole skill set in itself. So I'm all
Yep.
about it.
Shout out to all our community people out here, man, because I think Dason puts it best. Him being more, I won't say new, but being younger. So he's not new to the community work at all, but
Right,
he's younger, right? And has a younger perspective. And
right.
he says, "Chap, I just thought my nonprofit would be doing fun recreational stuff, playing flag football, going camping, this and that." And he has a way of articulating how it turns into so much more than you intended because you're building relationships and meeting people's needs and empowering them. And it's more than just I'm the guy who does the fun stuff. It's now you're the guy that call when they lose their job and need food. You're the
Right.
guy that call when their daughter is shot. You're the
Yeah.
guy they call when whatever they're dealing with now, because you have that relationship. And a lot of people in the city a lot of people that we serve don't have good relationships with that many
Right.
people at all.
Right.
People in the community who are doing stuff become trusted people you can call during times of need,
Yeah.
and then it just evolves. And so, like, where Dayson started out with Level Up just being a recreational thing, like he's written letters against gun violence with the kids in the community. He's done
Right.
gun violence prevention. He's done um, you name it, and he's done it because we end up having to wear all the hats. Like,
Right.
you're kind of known for tiny homes and micro shelters and serving the homeless community, but that you do so much more than just that, right?
Right.
And then just that can even turn into more. Like, some of our guys out here, like, they need more than just a meal and a shelter.
Right.
And you can explain how I love how you explain to people, like, and love listening to it. When you talk about, well, let's get you an ID, let's get you an address, because an
Right.
address means you get an ID.
Right.
ID means you can get a job and benefits, right? And a job means you can, I don't know, get a, sorry, yeah, keep leveling up. But it all starts with, like, none of that can happen. And I'll tell you, none of that can happen if you don't have an ID. And you can't just use a PO box for an ID. You have to have an address.
Yeah. And to that point, like so many of us have been driving or had a license since we were 16, been living somewhere all of our lives. So we don't even recognize that those are barriers. Those don't even come into play. We're just like, well, why are these people living in these tents? And I just don't
Well,
understand it. And it's like that because you're coming from a place of privilege. That's why you
Well,
don't
and yeah, and you never know someone's situation. Let me tell you, I had both my parents in my life, good family. My dad was my Sunday school teacher,
Yeah.
and I don't hate church, so he, he
Right.
did it right. But even so, coming up in a good environment and a white privileged household, we
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of money, but we still had the privilege of being white, right?
Right.
And even coming from that scenario at 15, I was
Yeah.
homeless, living out of a Volvo.
Yep.
I didn't even have my license yet, but pushing the whip and living out of a little box '80s Volvo, maybe it's '90s, and
But
then
still figuring it out.
right, and so I was blessed enough to have a roof over my head, so I don't ever actually fully identify with experiencing homelessness because there's others who had it way worse.
Right.
But even coming from a good background in that space, you never would have guessed, and I don't think my parents even knew that I was, they
That
just thought I was out on my own living somewhere with somebody, and I was out of a
right.
car. So
That you could become vulnerable. Like
yeah,
I know I've never been homeless, but or or housing insecure that I know of, right? Like I'm sure my parents went through some stuff that they didn't need to share with us that maybe we did have an eviction notice. I don't know. But my point is, there were times when my mother's, like our family, cousins, whole ass families would come and stay with us because they were evicted. You know
mhm,
what? So I
yep.
knew as a child how easily that could happen to my family members who were working every day.
I
Like,
was gonna say it happens so often. It's just a thing. Like, families coming to stay for 4 months. Okay, cool. Like,
yep,
we already know what to do. Here's a routine. Use
right,
this
right.
bathroom. Here's a bed.
Yes, I switched to my sister's room. They go to
Right,
my room. They
right.
have their own space. They use this bathroom. Like we were fortunate enough to live in a big enough space that we could invite folks in. And even when it wasn't a big enough space, they were sleeping on the floor, on the
On the
couch,
couch.
whatever, like whatever it needed to do to
You
get
had
them
to pull
done.
out couch too. That was like the gold.
Yep, pull out couch, little cots. I was a
The
Girl
army cot,
Scout, so
air
we had
mattress. Yep.
sleeping bags, air
Yeah.
mattresses, like whatever it took. But that was so common that I myself recognized like you can become vulnerable to homelessness. Not only that, like I saw that these were women with children and they were having issues with their husbands or baby daddies. So I'm like, oh wow, women are even more at risk
Mm.
than men in some cases, but it's because of that vulnerability with the children and all these things. But just having that empathy and being able to speak that to people who are privileged.
Glad you said that. So you triggered this thought in my head that I kind of forgot about. So the Helping Up mission, they have served men experiencing
Yep.
homelessness and addiction for decades, almost
Yep.
100 years, I would say, like a long time.
Yep.
And maybe exaggerating, but it's a long,
A
long time.
long, long time.
And
Yeah.
so they had last November, they opened up, tried to open up. COVID kind of slowed them down. The women's shelter, but they're in full swing now. So Helping Up Mission has a women's shelter. And when I tell you, they have spaces that are like hotel rooms for women with
Mm,
their children. And so they bring the women in, and like you can have 6 kids with you, and they're going to have space for you. And If you haven't been down there, Quita, let's go check it out because you want to see what you're sending people to before you
Right.
recommend something.
Yep.
Because I do recommend Helping Up Mission. It's been 100% successful for the
Yeah.
men in my life, my brothers who have finished the program,
Right.
and
I agree.
a lot of times it takes a couple times. So encourage
Yep.
people, like, it doesn't just because you dropped out the first time, like everybody does, man. It's hard to change your life and take your life back.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
easier to get back, go back to using and just live in a certain way. But
Yep.
I also make sure people understand they're a little heavy handed with the Christian stuff. Now
They are.
they so if that offends you, it might not be the place for you. But
Right.
understand that they are successful. Their 12-month program. It's not 30 days. It's not 90 days because it's 12 months, and it is successful. And so, if
Yeah.
you can go in and maintain your identity and your faith while
Mhm.
listening to the things they have to teach from their base, then you will succeed.
Yeah.
But same with the women's shelter. So understanding it's a Christian place, and
Mhm.
they may be a little they may bully you a little bit with it. It might not be for everybody, and I'll say that, but definitely the space they have for the women is like it's all brand new, and it
Mhm.
was described to me as hotel rooms, and so I can't wait to go down and check it out. Monique Ruffin,
Yeah.
known as Monique, she's the one that told me. She's like, you got to come see it. It's beautiful down here, and I was like,
We
who
need to
says that
plan a
about
field trip.
who
Yeah.
says that about a homeless shelter?
Right. Because let's be honest, like a lot of my mission is around the fact that women are like, I don't feel safe in homeless shelters. They're dirty. I feel like I'm going to
Yeah,
get something while I'm there. So people steal. I feel like I'm abused. I'm vulnerable. There's all these different reasons that women are like, I would rather sleep outside or go to a corner and get a friend, if you know what I'm saying. So like if that's the alternative, then we need to figure out what is really going on in these shelters. But if Helping Up Mission is looking like a hotel, then that's the bar that we need to strive for, right? Like that sounds
yeah,
amazing.
yep. And I'll also say, so I don't offend anybody watching. I The Bible is my truth. I'm saved by the blood of Christ, but that's
It's
my
not
faith
for
journey. Right.
everybody. It's
So
not for
I'll just say
everybody.
that in context. I'm not hating on Christians or the Helping Up Mission at all. I love them. They do great work. And they even allow me, understanding my philosophy, they allow me to speak to their men during their Bible studies occasionally. So
Right.
they're very open minded and very much for everyone. But just
Yeah.
understand, like, if you don't know going in, you're gonna get your feelings hurt because you're gonna hear about Jesus.
Right, the whole time. In 2020, when we were doing the four shelters or the panels for the four shelters, excuse me, the panels for the four shelters, we did an outside like overnight camp out, and Helping Up Mission participated in that. So they were there as we slept outside. I didn't stay the whole night, I'm gonna be honest. It just wasn't something that I could do. But the shelters were out there. Folks had their sleeping bags. It was quite an experience. But Helping Up Mission, they have been right there the whole time. So I do appreciate what they do for Baltimore City.
Hmm.
And you're right, chap. Like people do complain, oh, it's too religious, it's too this, it's too that, and that's fine. Like go find another place. But
Hmm.
if you can tolerate it and that's not your thing, a year program is like the best. Like you're
Hmm.
getting fed, you're having your home, like these things matter. So always weigh those pros and cons, because I mean religion, spirituality, it's not awful. Like come on now.
No, and I think that's funny because I think sorry, I'm just trying to see if I can get Haneef on here tonight. So being a chaplain and being Christian as my faith base, as well as respecting all people's faith journey, because that's what my faith actually teaches me, is that my all wise God knows what he's doing and is in control of what he's doing in every person's life. So I'm not going to argue you in the kingdom of
Right.
heaven, right?
Right.
So you're on the journey you're supposed to be. Understand that, believe that, because I believe it for you.
Right.
Um, yeah. What was the question? I forgot.
You are a mess. You
I am.
started saying something about your faith base.
Oh, yeah, I
Do
did.
you
I
recall?
forget.
Okay, well, still to that point.
Oh
Not
yeah, yeah. So
go ahead.
no, so that's what it was. So yeah, being a chaplain and understanding that I don't know, it's funny tonight because I was in the gym with the kids at Agogi and kind of want to show you guys show off a little bit. My son got he was on the mat scrapping for the first time I think in his life. Um, and it was really good. So I'm a divert from that faith talk to this. Is that a Gogi project, right? So we're in there tonight. They had about 20 kids in there on the mat, and they're all wrestling and learning jujitsu. Um, and it was really great because not everyone in there is a fighter. Not everyone is in there is wants to learn jujitsu or boxing. Their
Right,
parents are
and not
making them
everyone in
go.
there is competitive.
Right, right. And so like there's all these different characters on the mat and my son, if you guys know Dougie, he's a hugger, he's a helper, he's really quiet and
He's my
kind-hearted
favorite.
and timid. Yeah, and he's just
He's my
there's a
favorite.
there's a gentleness to him that like he's a little for me it's like it's a little too gentle, but it's like that's him. So we don't shame him for that. We don't shame him for being him. But I just need him to learn some different things. You're a young man in Baltimore of color. There's some things you need to know.
Right, because I
And
definitely
so,
wanna walk behind Dougie, like, with my arms up, like,
right, right.
who messing with my not today.
So yeah, so today in the gym, something finally clicked with him where he stopped being gentle when he's doing these moves and these little arm bars and chokeholds, and you could see his little ripped arms like starting to flex real hard. He's putting a chokehold on a guy and he's getting thrown around and doing this stuff, and so it's
Gritting
cool
his
to see
teeth.
him to activate and to activate his power
Right.
and to tap into his strength through confidence
Yes.
without being. He understood that I can be strong and powerful without being hurtful or hateful.
Right.
And he was smiling the whole time. He's giving this 16-year-old. Well, he's 16 too,
Yeah.
but he's giving this other dude who's been training for months now.
Mhm.
Is definitely outclasses him. But Dougie has been training and paying attention to the point where he gave him a real hard time. And he didn't get a pin on him, but he didn't let the guy up for like whatever time they were scrapping, and he had a smile on his face the whole time. So it was like it clicked for him, and so he's one out of like 20 or 30 kids over there that are
Mhm.
having those moments. And these kids when they get in the ring boxing, they all come out the ring the first time blubbering, crying
Oh.
in front of everybody, and that's the process, right? You get punched in the face, you're getting punched in the face, and you get this adrenaline rush, and you're not used to it. It's very emotional and personal and intimate. Someone's in your face, punching you in the face or whatever, and beating you up, and you can't just do this. You gotta fight back, and you gotta
Mhm.
and to watch them the first time just bawling, crying, coming out, and everybody's cheering them on and showing them love and giving them hugs and saying, "Yeah, like yes, you did it." And then
Mhm.
the next time they might like get emotional and out of control and they start, but they don't drop. They're not like pouring waterworks like they were the first time, and maybe by the third or fourth time it's okay. Like they're not scared to take that punch now because they're trusting their training. They're seeing like, wow, like everybody was there for me when that happened, and so they're building these really great confidence skills, but
Mhm.
within themselves and with each other. If they're messing up in training and they're doing push-ups, somebody messes up, they got to start over. Instead of saying, "Come on, man, you're screwing us," they're saying, "Come on, man, you can do it. We got you." Right? And so there's this just culture being built just in this one space. And there's more than just a Gogi project across the city. There's Umar, there's Upton Boxing, um, and other programs like not just boxing, but other programs are empowering, encouraging each other, like the marching units, the Go Getters, and Epic, and Mass Destruction, Extravaganza, and Dynasty, and all these little programs that we need to pay attention to and we need to support and make sure that our kids are attending them and taking advantage of the knowledge they're sharing and experience they're providing while they're available and while they're available for free. And if it's
Yeah,
not
so
free,
with the Agoji project, is it still free Monday through Thursday?
everything 17 and under, everything is free. Adults 18 and older, negotiable. There's a certain standard we're trying to get to keep the lights on for the kids, but it's all negotiable. We had a little old lady, and no disrespect to her, but she's a little old lady, like in her 60s, but she's feisty, and she actually came by the gym down on Bel Air Edison trying to hawk a pair of boxing gloves, right? And she's like, "How much you want for these?" I'm like, "We're good. We got gloves." I said, "You keep them." I said, "You wear them when you come up for training." She said, "I can't afford it." I said, "Well, come on up and we'll talk about it." And sure enough, the coaches came down and said, when are you coming? Like, they didn't even know we were having this conversation. They said, when are you coming up here, old girl? She's like, I used to fight, and she's getting it in and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I can see that. When you coming up to train? She's like, I'm too old. He said, no, you're not. She said, well, I don't have the money. He said, well, let's talk about it.
Right.
So I'm telling you, come down to the gym. We'll work it out. We'll figure it out. Had a young guy supposed to come by tonight. He didn't make it, but he's like 19. He's like, well, is it still free for me? Well, come talk to the coaches, man. We'll figure it out. Like, if it's not, we'll figure it out. So yeah, we want everybody to be part of the culture and enjoy.
Are they still doing classes on Sundays for adults?
Yep, 8 a.m. So
8
maybe we'll take Christmas off and New Year's, but definitely.
Right,
So the next 2 weeks, no, but 8 a.m. Yeah, it's great beginners. Like it's more relaxed beginners class, entry level. Like you've never taken any jujitsu or anything. Like 8 a.m. on a Sunday is good. It's just more casual. And like for me, so bring your significant other. It's great. Me and Brandy call it couples therapy. Pretty much leave everything on the mat in the violence in the appropriate context. So no, it's good. It's really fun. And adult classes during the week are started I think it's like 6:30 to 8. They do boxing and jiu-jitsu. But the kids program's free. They're learning boxing and jiu-jitsu. We got a Wing Chun master coming through, Sifu Fisik, who's like second generation from Bruce Lee when he came to America. So he studied under Johnny Clayton, who studied under William Chung, who's like Bruce Lee's legacy. And then we have Officer Steve Williams. He's going to come in, and he was supposed to be in there tonight. I didn't see him, but I had to leave early. He's going to come in and do some Muay Thai. He's a professional Muay Thai boxing trainer and athlete. And then we got our jiu-jitsu guys, and then we have Coach Childs, who does our boxing stuff. So a lot of mixed martial arts.
We need to talk to them about like doing like a community hour. Or
you know where to find us. Every day after 4, Monday to Thursday or Saturday, you come through, and I'll make sure you have their ear.
Yeah, I think that would be like, because I hear kickboxing, I hear jujitsu, and
kung fu, boxing. We have
but it sounds intimidating, right?
Oh, well, so we also have an Afrobeat dance class, if that's a little more your style.
Right. So like a little like sampling of the things, a community night where there's some sort of sampling. I think that would be really good for people, because for me, I'm like, oh my God, kickboxing. I would love to kickbox, but do I really? That sounds intimidating. It sounds better. But I know if I were kickboxing, I know my body would be like happy. You know, it would love it. But my mind is talking me out of it because it sounds like hard work.
Yeah, I think it'd be great, like doing a demo night or something would be really great. That's true. Because then we can show off, some of the kids can show off some of the stuff they're learning too, because they are learning. Like so I'm in there at least once a week. I try to be in there 3 times a week because the kids are expected to be there 3 times a week to be part of the program. So if I'm going to call myself supporting their program, I can't hold myself to less standards than the kids.
Right.
So
yeah, and Dougie's got to show up 3 times a week too, right?
Oh yeah, Dougie's definitely got to show up 3 times a week. So some days, if I'm busy, I'll drop him off and come back. Tonight, one of the coaches is giving him a ride home. But yeah, that's the other thing. Like they work with you, man.
Yeah.
We're getting a couple kids through Dayson's level up. We're getting a couple kids bicycles because some of them walk a really long way from the house after school to get there. So we'll get them some wheels. Yeah, it's good stuff going on over there. And so Haneef, we're gonna have to reschedule and get him on another night.
What was he?
He has Unlimited Potential Mentorship is the name of his program. And he was over teaching. I'm not sure if he still teaches at the Academy on Dolphin. I forget the name of it, on Dolphin and Pennsy Ave. He does a lot of events at Robert C.
That new song?
No. Begins with an F, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
Something. I'm not sure. It might be a new song. And he's got, I was kind of excited to talk with him about, he's got a NASCAR plug.
Oh.
So like he's got videos of him inside the NASCARs doing ride-alongs with like before races and stuff. Like, and I think this week he just got back from out of town doing a NASCAR event. So like having a pipeline or a connection where kids in his program have a direct connect to last time I checked, which was 2-3 years ago, a $6.5 billion industry with one black athlete.
Right. Very
Bubba, whatever his name is.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so that's an amazing thing. He's been able to create. He can but he does Thanksgiving. He had did a Thanksgiving dinner, hot dinner. Everybody came into the rec and they fed like 300 some people. Again, this Wednesday we expect between 200 and 300 people to show up and get, gifts and bikes and shoes and food and stuff. Um, but I really wanted to come on and talk more about what his day to day stuff looks like, which I'm eager to find out. So we'll have to get him back on.
Okay.
So how you feeling about next Monday? You want to do a rerun? Because here's what I was thinking: like either Christmas Monday after Christmas and New
Oh
Year's. I was
yeah, because Christmas is Sunday.
Sunday. So here's my thought, because we know a lot of really great kids at some HBCUs right now. We know some really great graduates like yourself and Haneef. And so I thought while the kids are in town, you know, for the holidays,
Mm-hmm.
let's get some feedback from the HBCUs and see what's going on there and what kind of lifestyles they're living. Right, just have
Yeah.
some of the kids that are in school now.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to share the space on Monday night and just invite some, I got a guy got a guy going to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Got a guy at Hamden in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And we can reach out to some other students. Got one at Morehouse. What's the young man's name?
Keon.
Yeah, you know Keon. That's right. So thank you. Yeah.
I
So
know Mr.
yeah,
Keon. I'll have to let
Daytime.
him know that we said his name
That's
on
right.
this particular recording because
Yep.
Keon is at Morehouse.
Mhm.
Met him. He's read The Black Butterfly. He went to Crystal Ray, so I know his
And we met
principal.
him doing community work down east, Bel
Yep,
down Lake Clifton area. Yep. He was
yep,
handing out food for like consistently for every weekend.
yep, yep. That was with Creative Influence. Like we
Hmm.
are out here in the community meeting folks and greeting folks, but even still with that, Keon was Alicia Wilson's or is Alicia Wilson, who works for Johns Hopkins and is going over to, I think, Chase Bank now. But either way, he has
Okay.
been her mentee of sorts. He's been involved in planning the Black Business Expo, pulled your girl
Cool.
into a couple of those. So
Cool.
staying connected with, the community of the sorts, like we get it. And so bringing in more folks that went to the HBCUs, connecting those dots, keeping this
Hmm.
ecosystem tight. I'm with it. I love that.
And we can get a couple alumni. We got because I think if we can get Donnie on, he went to like 6 HBCUs. He
Right.
went
He went to
Morehouse,
Morehouse,
Coppin, Howard,
Morgan,
Morgan,
probably.
yeah,
Yep.
Bowie
Khadijah and
somewhere.
Nicola, they went to
Hmm. There you
Morgan.
go. Dayson's at Coppin right
At
now.
Coppin, my good best friend,
See?
she went to Coppin too. Now that I think about it, I know quite a few people that went to
Well,
Coppin.
we should try to start it every year. We'll do a little homecoming HBCU homecoming show around Christmas.
Oh, that's so
Is that cool? That's
cute.
what I'm saying.
Yes,
All
I
right.
love that.
So
So yeah,
that's our
tell a
homework.
friend to tell a friend.
That's right. That's our homework. And for guys, anybody watching, you guys catch the show and you watch to the very end. Thank you. Definitely reach out to any HBCU family, graduates, or particularly in school right now. We want to love
Yeah,
and support and encourage the guys that are in there in the mix. And yeah, let's get them on the show next week and let's talk about what's going on with them and maybe what do they need? How do we support them and
right.
help them
Elevate
be
folks.
successful? Yeah.
Yeah, what's your major? Have you found out what your superpower is yet? How can we help you with resources? Because we be knowing folks. Like we might
Duh.
not have a coin, but we know folks. We know how to barter and trade and get stuff done. So hit us up. Hit us up.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. So are we about to get out of here, chat?
I think so. I think we stalled and Hanif ain't gonna make it. So he didn't make it for a good reason. He's out shopping for Wednesday. Just making sure there's enough toys for everybody. So
Right.
come
So
out Wednesday.
Wednesday, 4:30 to 7:30. Where at again?
The address I believe is 1201 Pennsy Ave. But Robert C. Marshall. Everybody knows Robert C. on Dolphin and McCall or Dolphin and Pennsylvania Avenue. Yep.
4:30 to 7:30. And then are they taking donations? Should people
So
just come
yes,
and pick
thank
stuff
you for
up?
asking. So on my Cash App 410 Chap, we are taking any donations to help with some of the cost. I think we're maybe around $500 shy of what we need to make it happen. And we always make it happen anyway. God always provides. But if you want to be part of that solution, you guys can cash at me at $410 chap. And just mark it with, put a note donation, and I'll make sure that it goes to support this event on Wednesday. There's a flyer right there.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, so it's on my Instagram if you want to check the flyer out. And my Cash App address is also on the Instagram. So if anybody wants to donate and pitch in, every little bit helps. So I appreciate that.
Every
Hopefully
little bit
I'll see
does
you out
help,
there.
y'all. I need people to understand the way this community stuff is set up. Don't nobody get paid to show up for this stuff. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to apply for grants, and then after the grants, we got to do all these reports.
But
and
that's the whole job.
It's not even worth it.
No, right? And it's the whole job that we're busy doing this stuff.
Is the actual job. That's the actual work. And so the grant reporting, sometimes it's more work than it needs to be. And I know for me, it's just like, I'm going to just show up and do what I can and invite people who are like-minded. But guys, it takes money to sustain, and we got to remember that. So if you can contribute your time. If you can contribute your money, please donate, help out the kids, the folks, the communities, because we need it. I really feel like people need to understand we're filling in the gap that your government is not doing. Okay, that's what's happening here.
It is true.
But, I'll get off my soapbox.
Oh, thank you, Pastor, sharing. She said to check with Miss Valerie Matthews. She might have some toys from Saturday's event. So thank you.
Yes, and thank you for checking in. We had a couple of people check in with us. Blanca was on here. Miss Spence was conversing with
Pastor Spence.
Pastor
She
Spence.
earned it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I do not know Pastor Spence personally, but chat knows you, Pastor Spence. And thank you for chiming in. We appreciate you for hanging out with us. We will be back next Monday, probably with an HBCU show.
Right.
The following Monday, probably another homecoming HBCU show. As a matter of fact, you know what? We might go all the way till MLK Monday, because boom, boom, boom. Like, that's what's coming up.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And then it'll lead us right into Black History Month. Y'all see how this is how the story goes. But same bat time, same bat channel, Mondays at 7, shared space. See ya. Love you. Bye. You got any farewells, Chapo?
Nope. Love you guys. Thank you. See you.
All right. And we're out. Bye.